Hello. Is that working? Good. Okay. Gonna start in just a minute. If you hear something in the background, that's my son enjoying a movie. So I drew this yesterday, and I did draw this yesterday, right? Let's see if I can get as much of it as possible on the camera. So it's just gonna be like a really quick one. I think this will be done in less than an hour. So my setup is pretty rudimentary. I've got a camera attached to a cardboard mug holder. So hopefully this will work. We'll give it a shot. Alright, so these are the pens I'm going to be using. I've been using these for a while, and they're not quite what I want, like, compared to a brush, but a brush just doesn't do enough for me. A brush is just takes too long. It does plenty for me, but it takes too long. So I wear these down a lot. This one I would never use for inking characters. This one is definitely for the lettering pile now. I would do like some bolded letters with something like this. It produces a line. Like there's no real thin line to that. It's just, it's just thick. So it's good for writing dialogue, because I can kind of press with it and dialogue. I can kind of press down with it and kind of destroy it, because I'm not super worried about saving the point anymore. So this one's no good. Let's see. This one's okay. It might work. Also, probably not going to get the thinnest line I can. Let's see. That's all right. All right. I think this one will do for what I'm doing. Oh, shoot. My fingers are like all cracked from being outside, so I'm literally going to be bleeding on this on this image. I'll put some artist tape on my finger. Keep it dry. Oh, that's gross. That's gross, but that's life. All right. Soon after this, there came a very hot day with the boys. All right. There we go. All right, not so bad. The focus is kind of getting it, right? Image is visible. Kind of sharp. So I hold the pen. I've been told I have an absolute death grip when it comes to holding the pen. How's that sound, by the way? I know there's a movie going on. Can you hear me? Camera looks good? All right. Oh no, the bleeding. Okay, good. Yeah, no, it looks nice and sharp. That's what I want. I want the image to come alive for you guys. Good Saturday. I went into the city, just like took transit with my son and my husband, and we went to like the little Christmas village in town, and it was just like, it was so cute. It was also adorable. There's a lot of there's a lot of things that I've been wanting to do with my son that like he wasn't quite ready for. He couldn't quite appreciate until recently, and now he's really into a lot of things that I was like kind of just waiting for him to be into. So it feels good. Like I get to I get to show him cool things, which is like one of the big parent perks in my mind is just like when you get to show them stuff and they're actually like impressed by it. Real fun for me. Okay. Yeah, it's you kind of get to relive a lot of it through your kid, which is fun. Like you get to enjoy things that you'd kind of put behind you, and even just like being present in places that are for kids. Like you stop doing that at a certain point, and you kind of don't even think about it again until you go back there with your kid, and then that space is yours again in a different way, but still you get to appreciate what's fun about it. Like you show up to a playground. Like when I show up to like a good playground, I get pretty damn excited. I'm just like, oh, look at all this stuff. Oh my god, he's gonna love this. And then maybe he does. Maybe I love it a little more than he does. But that's the luck of the draw. Kind of drawn in the dark here, but it's pleasant. I got like a light shining over the desk, and the sun is going down outside my window, which is really pretty. It's ideal. Kind of a perfect Saturday, I gotta say. I've never seen that particular um, football in the year. 17,000. Is that the year? I've never seen that, but I, I feel that as you describe it. Going to a place where no one would go except for a kid. Like I used to go to these places where it was literally just like a dumping ground, but it would be like nobody knows about this. It was like a magical place because there were no adults there, nobody telling you what to do, um, full of dangerous broken glass and needles and all kinds of stuff. I'm going pretty thick on this one, I gotta say. I do like an author that loves humanity. I feel like I am always on the search for that, for people who can see the humanity in their characters. I watched last night. This is one of my favorite movies ever. Young Adult, and it just gets better every time I see it. It's 2011. Charlize Theron, Patton Oswalt, um, Patrick Wilson, and Charlize plays an absolute psycho who writes children's books, and she left a town that she considers dog shit, and in a way it is, but in a lot of ways it's just a regular ass town full of people and like anywhere else. And well, I won't give it away, but she has a real break. She has a real break from reality, and she just as she's having one, she returns home and revisits her past. and absolute insanity ensues. It's just so good. What am I using? So these are called zebra pens, and what I do not like about them is that they do not fucking last very long. The points go bad so quickly. Um, at least the way I use them. And what I do like about them is that they've got a nice rigid felt tip that it doesn't really simulate the brush, but it is incredibly easy to control. At least for me, your mileage may vary. I hate to tell people about my tools, honestly, because I always feel like I'm recommending something without any context. I'm recommending something that worked for me because I'm me. Um, and I don't wish for anybody to think that I've cracked the code. I've found the tool. Um, I've drawn I've drawn comics with many pens and many brushes, and there are benefits and downsides to all of them. This part I'm finding, I wish the point was a little finer than it is. I feel like I'm just kind of big pen. Big pen. Yeah, I mean, jet pens, right? They're always ringing me for my money. These zebras are a little hard to find, too. I can get them at Joann's once in a while if I, need them today. But usually I end up ordering them from jet pens, and they take, at least a week and a half to get to me. Okay. Yeah, I kind of wish I was using another pen with slightly thinner lines, but now that I've begun, I feel like I need to follow through on this one. How's everyone enjoying their long weekend in the States? Are we visiting family? Enjoying a little time at home without actually working? Or are we working? Are we just back to work? Hopefully, if you're at work, I'm giving you something to think about. I'm giving you something to think about. I'm giving you some real nuggets right now. Hopefully, you're stealing wages from your boss and enjoying the stream at the same time. All right, so this is gonna get trickier as I'm gonna move my camera onto the page and see if this works. I might really shake things up. All right, I can't stand to look at it, so I'm going to use a whiteout pen over that spot of blood. Goodbye. That's what I call presto. Okay, which one of these was I using? This one will do it. Oh, sick at home. Am I drawing? Hold on. Am I drawing on tracing paper or a light printout? This is a light printout. I print out on smooth Bristol board usually, and oh my god, I just smeared off the the whiteout. this is this is my curse of being a lefty. I am so deeply cursed. Every mark I put down is just going to be smeared by the next mark. That's all there is to it. So yeah, I've been doing it this way for a while, and it just I've found it's best for me. I'm very comfortable inking on the computer or penciling on the computer, but I do not like inking on the computer. I really like inking on paper. I feel like there's just too many spontaneous choices that get made during the inking process, even though I've really kind of tamped it down, and like I keep very tight pencils so that there won't be any unhappy surprises. Um, Summer there in Oz, hitting up the beach later. That sounds awesome. Sick at home. Do you have COVID? Yeah, it's pretty popular these days to do the printout. I've heard that gallery like art dealers don't like it. Um, they say it devalues the art because I guess because it has a digital print on it. Maybe that's not archival or something, but I don't know, man. I gotta do it the way it works for me. You can have this or you can have no comics because I simply would not be able to be productive if I didn't do it the way that I'm comfortable, like that I've built my process around. So, easy decision for me. Uh, New York in a petri dish, yeah. I mean, I was just out in Philly all day without a mask. Like, I mean, nobody's wearing a mask. It's go with God out there. Um, and you know, I had it. I had it not long ago, so I guess I'm feeling a little invincible. Stupid Sean face. Is a special way I print on Bristol. So usually the printer is not happy. Um, I do it on an inkjet. The Brother, I've had decent luck with the Brother MFCs, and specifically because those are usually they offer wide format, so I can print an 11 by 17 image like this one. Um, Whereas my little laser printer cannot handle this at all. I've tried, I tried a few different ways over the years, and there's just there's no feeding cardstock for me through the laser printers I've had. So I just do. I'll show you the printer. Actually, I can. It's right near where the camera is pointed right now. It's this guy right here, and I just feed it through here. And in previous models, I've had to kind of push it through to get it to feed, but but excuse me, but what does that mean? Um, What's it mean, sweetheart? I don't know. He doesn't know. I want to say hi to everybody there. Oh, yes. Okay, so yesterday Oscar discovered that he can say hi to everybody on the stream. So I think he'd like to do that again. Why don't you go ahead and say hi, buddy? But hi. Just please don't touch any of the keys, okay? What do you want to say to them? Right now, the people in the chat there are watching me draw. They're watching this little video of my hands drawing. Let's see if I can get a little closer to the image. Yeah. Do you want to say anything? Somebody said hi, Oscar. Oh, look, a few people said hi, Oscar. You see? Hey, don't turn my chair.
How how is it? How are how are they feeling?
All right. Oscar would like to know how you're all feeling. Somebody says, oh, can you read what they said?
Oh yeah. Um 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 the, um oh is is he still sick?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if the same person is sick from the other day. B movie fan says they're doing good.
But how is it too? But how is
Oh, somebody says they're feeling comfy. Oh, are you thinking of the person from yesterday who said they were sick?
yeah?
I don't know if they're here today.
Um are you still sick?
If they're out there, maybe they'll respond.
Can I come up?
Oh, no, sweetie. I don't think I can have you in my lap while I'm doing this. It would be kind of hard. Oh, rats?
No.
Oh, sweetheart. Don't climb on me. Oh, you okay? Did you move your head?
You want to see all the candy?
Hey, Munchkin. All right. I mean, we're always on the brink of chaos here. Always. You never know, folks. Did you want to say something else?
How was that person?
I don't think they're here, sweetie. I think you'll have to ask them another time how they're doing. But maybe you can leave them a message. You can say, I hope you're feeling all right when you hear this.
I hope you're feeling all right.
That's really nice, dear. That's so sweet of you to be concerned about them. Oscar is not a shy boy. He gets right in there and makes lots and lots of friends everywhere he goes. I can't relate. Cannot understand it, really.
I hope you're feeling well.
Oh, that's very sweet, darling. Do you want to tell them what you did today?
Not really.
Okay, that's fine. Oh, I made a little mistake, you see. I gotta fix that. It's all right as long as I'm not as long as he's not climbing under the table, which is what he was trying to do before. Oh, really? Okay. Well, yeah, we're not gonna do that. All right. Fix that. That's my guy. We've it's nice around the holidays. Both of us can hang out with our son all day long. And it's yes, he has absolutely added some spontaneity to my drawings. Yeah, that kind of spontaneity I'm always looking for, you know? Oh man, we're getting to the part in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the I want to say 2006 version, where Charlie just got his golden ticket. I stand by this movie. I think it's terrific. Ooh, I did not mean for that line to connect. I'm going to open that up. You'd rather it stay precious in your memory. Yeah, well, I mean, our boy Johnny Depp has fallen from grace, but he plays Willy Wonka kind of like a Michael Jackson kind of figure. Very strange and sad, and it really works in my opinion. I think it's terrific. He's very chaotic. Like this movie is like way more chaotic than the original. Oh, there was just the one guy. I mean, I could see that. I could see that. It's a little like, oh, great. Uh, I suppose it has a bit of a stink of like AI art taking your jobs away. Okay, I guess you only need one of us. Great. But I will say the one actor who plays all of the Oompa Loompas is terrific. Like, very, very funny.
He's saying maybe he shouldn't go because they need money instead of him going.
Yeah, no, exactly. Hopefully he got paid to be like to play like credited as more than one character. I wonder if what's his name, Andy Serkis got paid to be Gollum and Smeagol.
Yeah, his grandpa's gonna go with him. He can bring one person from his family. See?
Yeah, I think it's worth watching. I think it's pretty fun. And actually I love the songs too. I think they're I like the songs from the original, but I think
Okay.
the songs in this are very high energy. There's some good stuff.
Hey. Oh.
Man, I was like disappointed at the thickness of the line, but actually I'm pretty happy about it now. I think it's got a good look. Everything's like nice and chunky here. All right, let me fix that Eve arm. I wanted there to be like a little gap. Oh, right, the voice actor who got paid to say Meep one time and they doubled it. Meep. I think I will need to retire this pen pretty soon, though. I don't know if I'm going to make it through the whole drawing before the line is just too pulverized. The the point is just too pulverized to get the line I want, but for now it's doing its best. It's a little workhorse, this pen. Yeah, I think like for me, I like a thick line, but I don't like when there's no variation. I feel like that's when the texture gets lost. So if I'm doing a very thick line, I want to also be able to do a very thin line to counterbalance it. So like for instance, these little like shoulder lines here need to be like nice and wispy. Okay. Oh, we're making good progress here. All right. Yeah, this is looking okay. Let's bring that camera over a little bit. Willy Wonka. Yeah, it's a good song. But yeah, anyway, young adult gets Grand's pick of the week. I mean, it's just so good. It's like one of my favorite movies from like the last like 20 years. I really really love it. Perhaps because it's about a writer and in a sense, you know, somewhat about writing, that I really like it. That I really see like the evil qualities of a writer, how they steal from the world they live in and have trouble functioning in that world without collecting gems from like real people's lives. So I do watch it, and I actually like I see Charlize Theron like smirking into her computer screen, and I do feel like I too have have drank the poison and am also evil, and that there are possibly maggots crawling behind my eyes, where a person should be. That's how it makes me feel, and that's why I love it. Yeah, I am a little like Oogie Boogie man. Ugh, I mean, Charlize Theron is. I really don't want to spoil this movie. I'm really trying not to, but she is just like so incredibly good at being this statuesque blonde who nonetheless is so ugly on the inside, so ugly. She's disgusting, and you're just repulsed by her because you've never seen somebody who is so ugly on the inside before and so miserable. Um, really makes me want to check out some more of Jason Reitman's movies, and there's a few like Diablo Cody ones I haven't seen or I haven't like revisited in a few years that I want to check out. She wrote the screenplay. And then they followed it up with this movie called Tully, which is about a mom, like a single mom, with like three kids, or like she's got two kids and she's pregnant. Um, and I saw it when it came out, and I thought it was really good, but like nobody saw it, and it kind of disappeared. And I feel like young adult hasn't disappeared, but it's not held up the way I wish it was. It deserves more than it gets. So that's what I'm doing here right now. I'm doing the important work of canonizing young adult. Absolutely terrific movie. Oh my god, this kid, Augustus Gloop, and his little German accent. His mother, his German mother. I do wish those curls were a little. A perfectly round boy. Perfectly circular boy. What else? I'm trying to think what else I've liked lately. Not much, folks. I'm like trying to turn my body rather than turning the page, rotating the page, because I don't want to have to like reset the camera. But in general, when I'm drawing, when I'm inking like this, I would rotate the page to get a downstroke. Because any other stroke is not as controlled as the downstroke. So like by downstroke, I just mean going like that. So if I can't do that, which is my most controlled pull, if I have to do this, it's going to be way less controlled. So I'll do it if I have to just do like a quick little line. But if I have to do like a real stroke, I must move the page so that that stroke can be done. Otherwise, there's just not going to be enough control. So sometimes I'll jump around too if I think, if I'm close to that stroke, I'll just jump around to like another part of the drawing just to get that finished. Like I'm here, I may as well do this picture frame. And you can see what I mean. I have these little downstrokes in me that like, the wrist powers, and they can only go so long. So I just do them until I feel the control slipping away. And then I reset. And eventually you get your line. All right. I feel like I'm going to end up fixing this hand and not really being happy with it, but I just can't get hung up about little things when there's so much to do. All right, this is meant to be a vest, so we're going to need... I always forget how this crosses. Oh, anyway, I'll just pretend that I know. It overlaps over here, I'm going to say. lines like this, I really do need it to be thin. Otherwise, it just looks like extremely try-hard. It loses the elegance that I'm going for. Do I read graphic novels? One graphic novel a month? I have not read one since Ducks, which I feel like I talked about extensively on another stream. That's the last one I read. Um, like I said on the last stream, I pick up art books occasionally, but I don't down a lot of graphic novels, I gotta say. Comics don't end up being... I get my technical... I get technical insights from comics, but I feel like I don't get much that informs the kind of stories I want to tell. So there's a limit to what there's a limit to what I'm looking for in comics. I mean, I'm sure there is like, all right, let me see if I can give these shoes a cute texture. Maybe like, boop, boop. So yeah, I don't know if I have any. It's been 15 years since high school. Um, Only now I learned how to draw a good line without a ruler. Yeah, I mean, these are just things that you learn by doing it over and over and over again. It's like, I mean, you can draw with your arm, but I feel like that's even more challenging to practice than using a controlled wrist stroke. Um, Hello, how's the movie?
It's great.
Which character do you like best?
Charlie.
Yeah, you like Charlie best? What a surprise. You like a sweet little blonde boy who likes chocolate. Well, they all like chocolate, I suppose. That's unfair to characterize my son that way. You know what graphic novels I read? I read a lot of kids' graphic novels because my son loves them. He specifically loves YA. So I've been reading a lot of Raina Telgemeier's graphic novels, which, I kind of kept up with way back when. Um, I read like Smile and Guts and stuff like that. But now that my son's into it, I'm reading all of them, and I'm really like revisiting them, and like they have enormous value to him. So I'm getting to assess how I feel about them. And you know, Raina knows what she's doing. She speaks these kids' language, and she does so by uh, portraying herself quite honestly as an erotic little kid who just cannot deal with a lot of the changes that are happening in her life. And Oscar loves to read. He loves to be the main character in books like this, or like a character that really resonates with him, but usually the main character. So he likes to read from the point of view of the main character. So he'll be Raina when we're reading together, and it's quite cute. Quite cute. Right, so I'm like turning my body so I can get this on a downstroke. There we go. Sort of worked. It actually came out a little wobbly, unfortunately, but you know, with drawing stuff like this, I mean, with drawing in general, I feel you are making thousands of choices, and they must they must stand, like, because you're making so many of them. So if you get it right on the first shot, great. If you didn't get it right, unless it's terrible, it has to stand because you have to move on. Oh, this is Augustus Gloop's song. So they don't do like the same song for each character with different lyrics. They do like a unique song for each character as they exit the factory. And they're all really good. Alright, I'm gonna move over to here once again. Yeah, not the best line, but yeah. I just try to like remind myself. This is a little better. I try to remind myself that, yeah, square buttons. I did square buttons because it's just easier with a tapered pen to do stuff like that. It's like it ends up coloring a lot of my choices when it comes to like lettering, for instance, because I letter with these pens too. Um, so like my U's a lot of the time will be kind of square looking, like I'll be like because that just comes out the most natural with a brush pen. Okay, we're getting there, man. We're almost there. We've almost got this thing inked. What else should I talk about? What do you guys think about the social media shakeup? Right, that's fun to talk about, isn't it? How everyone last week thought Twitter was going to go away and started like furiously posting on these other platforms. Like, I'm having fun. Look how great this platform is. And I was like, you're not fooling me. I see you. You're not having fun. Yeah, it fits Jane's fashion sense. A very GQ details type look. So I'm not gonna letter this. This is gonna be like a little like guest book, like guest board with signatures and stuff on it, but I'm just gonna do this part digitally because I want to get the lettering just right, and I haven't worked it out yet. Okay, look how close we are, guys. Almost done. You logged back into Livejournal. I honestly wish, I do. Um, LJ, I mean, the thing is, we can't go back. In order to go back, I would have to be 16 again. We can't go back to what it was because I'm not looking for more people in my life to fulfill the thing that the live journal people were fulfilling. And I checked out Mastodon, I checked out Hive, and I just saw a lot of people. I mean, I guess this is inevitable. A lot of people just kind of taking all the discourse culture of Twitter and like trying to transfer it to a new social media site that has no context. And I'm like, well, that's not going to happen, first of all. And also, if it did, I don't want it. I don't want it. I would specifically like to never adopt um, any interest in discourse ever again. Um, I simply do not care. And I understand that a lot of people are really really into the discourse and do not want to see the main source of it go away. But I would like for it to go away. That's me. I don't want to talk about that stuff anymore. But I suppose it's not up to me because my disinterest means that I'm not the target. But I do think it maybe makes people a little stupider and crazier than they would be if they didn't have a place for that. Which is not to judge. There are certainly many things I do that make me stupider and crazier than I would be because I simply feel I must do them. But social media, I just can't. I simply cannot.
Excuse me.
All right. Make dinner.
Is it just about dinner time? I'm almost done here, so I'll probably be down. I mean, yeah, I think I'm gonna be wrapping this up around 6.
Okay.
Sorry if you answer this often. How long did it take for your traditional inking work to get to the level of your digital stuff? Did you do exercises beyond using it for the comic? I remember the first traditional pages were rough. Yes, they certainly were. Yeah. So, I mean, you can really chart it by the comic because that was my primary practice. And there was no other way to practice. Um, Everyone would like to think that there is another way to practice, but there's just not. You know, I guess if you want to go to grad school and learn how to ink and paint for a few years before any of your work sees the light of day, you can certainly do that. And sometimes I fantasize about being able to go back to grad school and become a painter or something. But in practical terms, and day to day life must be lived right now terms. Drawing a comic every day and putting it out there was my way of learning how to ink. I would say, I mean, I could go back and find what I think is the turning point. Let's see. I think I do recall. I really like how this Larry is coming out. Get a better look at him. Let's see. So we got volume 4. Pretty smooth already. Volume 2 is where it all goes to shit. That's where my roughest stuff is. This is all digital, actually. So, but I switched back and forth. So this is brushwork, and it's pretty smooth. This was around 2014, maybe, or maybe a little earlier. I think it was earlier than that. This was probably like 2012. Yeah, this was all brush. I think it was after this one, honestly, because I was trying. This is all digital. I was trying like a cat's tongue brush on this, and this one to me looks really sloppy, and I had to do a lot of digital cleanup on it. And then I switched to another one where I could get a much finer line, and yeah, I feel like these lines are like pretty close to tight. Like, pretty controlled here. So if I did these, like, what year was this? shit collected? I don't actually remember. It doesn't say. I'm not helpful at all. The one who personally drew it does not know. I would say it probably took about 2 years. 1 to 2 years of drawing comics every day with a brush before I felt in control enough to, you know, sort of put my own stylistic mark on it. Harder to make it as a webcomic artist in the era of big social media. It is not easy right now. I do not envy anybody, and maybe some young upstarts disagree with me on that. I'm not in it every day, so I don't know. But when I did it, I mean, for one thing, there were just not that many webcomics, and it was easier to stand out than it would be today. You have to compete with uh, new and old webcomics, and the thing that really I sort of lament about it is the loss of like the personal website. And I've talked about this a lot. You know, if you've been on my streams, you're probably bored hearing me talk about this. But everybody's on uh, social media with their webcomics and Webtoon and Tapas, and you especially cannot differentiate yourself when you're using these these websites where like the monetization process seems like deeply unfair. You have to do so much just to be like promoted to partner or whatever the hell. Um, they're making so much off of people, um, and and I think it denies like the people who do it because the barriers of entry to them are maybe like technical know-how. They don't know how to make their own website, or maybe they just want like the built-in community of readers that a website like that provides. It's a little of each, but I just feel like because they have such a monopoly on webcomics at this point, creators can't ask for much. They can't advocate for themselves, and they're at the mercy of policy choices from the boss. And this was what people my age and older were trying to get away from, was the oppressive syndication model, where there was the possibility for like a few people to make good money, but for the rest of us, we were either stuck pitching to the small handful of syndication houses that existed, um, or we were just drawing. Not we, because I never personally used the syndication model, but just drawing endless content with very little break. And if you didn't have enough paper, like if you weren't syndicated in enough papers um, to make that kind of money that like Bill Watterson or any of the major comic strip authors were making in their heyday, um, it was very possible that you were working just as hard as them without making a living from it, because you just were not getting your comic in enough papers. So the result was a very tightly gate kept world where there were not a lot of challenging ideas being put in the papers. You know, as the syndication model kind of was on the decline, they got even more risk averse than they ever had been, and and it just seemed impossible, and that's why people took to the web. A lot of those early web cartoonists, like uh, like Scott Kurtz and Tatsuya Ishida, talked about how they put their comic online because they planned to get syndicated, but it hadn't happened yet, so they were just kind of doing this in the meantime to show syndicates that they were serious and that they had already built up an audience and that their work would be fit for syndication. It was professional grade. Um, so they made a webcomic, and that's what it remained. Um, I don't know that anyone is creating comics defensively that way anymore. Yes, I know. I know. Tatsuya is kind of a joke now in a lot of ways. I don't really check. I heard that he's kind of like a turf now. I think. I don't know. That's what I heard. I have not personally confirmed. I loved his art back in the day. I just thought Sinfest looked so tight and professional, and there's like a period in every I feel like every kid who aspires to make comics has this period where they're like, all right, well, all I have to do is make it look professional. And Sinfest was just like so tight looking compared to like all the other web comics of the age. Like nothing looked that professional.
Oh no.
Oh no, what's happening?
He's getting big.
She is turning.
Ignore the writing, yeah. Or read old Sinfest. Yeah, I mean, I remember old Sinfest being like, hey, God, what's up? And then God gives him a middle finger. No ill will. I mean, all that stuff people talk about sounds pretty bad, but I feel like I'm more willing to give people the benefit of the doubt, not on their political beliefs necessarily, but um, on just becoming weird as a
I
cartoonist,
think you're right.
because I worry about that shit all the time. I worry all the time about, like, I'm gonna post the new Octopus pie, I'm gonna post my game, I'm gonna post whatever, and people are gonna be like, I think Meredith has gone off the deep end. I think she's fucking weird now. Um, it seems to happen, and I'm not going to name names at all, but it seems to happen a lot to aging artists who are perhaps a little more self-taught, uh, or if not self-taught, then like a real independent upstart kind of crank, if you will, which I have been at times, um, and a lot of them get weird. They start they start they go down a weird road and no one corrects them. They have their audience, they have their loyal audience, and their loyal audience kind of follows them there, and maybe it's like a frog boiling in a pot. They don't really notice how weird their guy is getting, um, how weird their boy Tatsuya is getting. That does seem to happen a lot. And I'm like, there's absolutely no guarantee that I won't do that at some point, that I won't become a weird one. What was that? Who am I bodying? Oh, Jeff Jackson? No, not at all. I like Jeff. He's a cool guy. There's a clear through line from where he used to be and where he's ended up. Well, yeah, I mean, if I'm just like guessing off the top of my head, I remember him being um, really like, what is that cliche? Um, when you're just like, if a woman ran the world, we wouldn't have any of these problems. If girls ran the world, we wouldn't have any of these problems. Like that kind of feminism, um, that is just like so corny, and and nobody has any real use for. Yeah, that kind of stuff. I remember him being like that, and I was like, yeah, but I figured that was pretty innocuous. All right, I'm gonna do the most fun part now, guys. I'm gonna do all the black fills. Woohoo! So I just use this guy because it's fast. Gets a lot of ink down fast, and I can easily refill it. It's just a Pentel pocket brush. So I have a little it has these little cartridges inside. I'll show you in a second. And you just you can buy new cartridges, but I just have a bottle of ink that I like. I like the Kohinoor, just like this the standard like Kohinoor India ink, and I just buy that and use a little needle to inject it into the cartridge when it runs out. Yeah, so it's just like, let's see if I can unscrew this.
Is Violet still a blueberry?
Yeah, they're working on it right now.
Violet exited the. Oh, I'm almost out actually, but you can see it comes with like a little cartridge, and you can just like pop that off and put new ink in. I think I'll be able to get through this though. The brush doesn't wear out. No, because this is a real brush. These are actual hairs. So unless you really abuse it, which would be like if you let it dry out without a cap, or you really mash it, it won't wear out. I've had this for years. They're pretty lasting as long as you replace the ink and use them gently. They bounce back.
Oscar, we're gonna go downstairs and get dinner. Hey, bud. And if you eat your dinner in time, then we'll come back up here and watch more.
Oh, okay.
Oscar.
My husband is negotiating with Oscar right now. Just telling him what the deal is. There are many negotiations in this house now. Because you get to a certain point where like you can't just be like, all right, you're a baby and I'm an adult and you're gonna do what I tell you. Like you just can't, because they're not a baby anymore. They're a child, but they're also pretty irrational a lot of the time. And you can't just pick them up and physically force them to do things. You have to get them to come around. So we do a lot of negotiating with our little guy, and generally he's very receptive to it. But it's not always an easy process. I feel like I'm standing there with the megaphone, trying to get him to release the hostages a lot of the time. The hostage being my evening, my nice peaceful evening. I'm almost out of ink. I can feel that it's like starting to dry, but I think I'm gonna get through this. I just need to do a little more after this. This is how I did all the fills on my. It's how I do all the fills on my pages. It's just easy, easy. Kids reach the age of actually understanding the world faster than people expect. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he gets it. Like, I mean, it honestly kind of kills me when people talk to him like he doesn't understand anything, because he really understands so much. It's just lack of experience. He's just never done a lot of things before, but if you give him the chance, he steps up. Like, sometimes I'll introduce him to something and it will be obviously something he's not ready for. And I'll just be like, oh, never mind. I'm going to continue doing this for you. But, a few months later, maybe I'll try it again. Oh, he's ready. And once he's ready, it's his. It's not my problem anymore. And he likes it that way. That's what he wants. He wants me to trust him. And I want to trust him. So, lately I have been letting him, for instance, go outside, which is kind of like it's honestly a little insane to me, and I still feel a little insane. But he goes out and gets the newspaper in the morning. He wants to do it, like he wants to help out in the morning. Um, and I watch him disappear out my front door, and unless he's gone for a long time, I just don't even I just let him disappear. And then, I'll let him go out in the backyard and play, and I'll just kind of be making dinner and just kind of craning my neck and making sure he's still where I asked him to be, and he's got it. He's got it. He's 4.5. Um, big boy, very big and also very small at the same time. All right, now I'm just gonna use another zebra, which just has like a thicker tip. I use that to just finish doing the fills. Satisfying, right? Oh, this one's like dried out. I've been using this one a lot. Maybe I can get just a little more use out of it before it's dead. These do not last. Like I said, these pens, much as I like them, they die. All right, I think I have another of these. I'm still talking kind of quiet like my family's here, but they're not. It's just me now. So I can actually be the dumb, cackling bitch that I like being best. What else should I talk about? We got like a few more minutes in here before I'm finished, and I got to get down there and get some dinner going. I could talk about, you guys got me to talk about the old days of webcomics a little bit. You ever point at a character I've made and say, this is 100% so-and-so, like a friend I've completely transplanted into my stories? They do make it in, yeah. It I wouldn't say, like, there are characters. I started talking about this on the last feed, and I'm actually quite embarrassed that I did, but whatever, it's out there already. But I was talking about how there are certain characters that are facets of myself, and then there are characters who tend to be facets of other people that I've known, and you know they both end up in there. I wouldn't say that any character is literally anybody I know. Many of my characters were modeled after somebody I know, or knew, or had encountered in my life, and then they become something different. But there was a period where like I had someone in mind. That's sort of inevitable because the alternative is creating characters from like archetypes, and I just think it gives them so much more life when they are somebody that you actually have feelings about in one way or another. I think that makes for good characters. Better than, just trying to, I don't know, construct them from one of those, like, I don't know, those worksheets that are like, what's your character like? Answer these questions about them. Like, I need to feel my characters and what they're like before I can write stories with them. they'll become archetypes either way. I suppose so, because you can't tell people everything about them. There are things about my characters that I just can't get to because there's just not enough time in any particular story to really like fully flesh out their world. So inevitably the reader will fill in some gaps on their own. It just has to be that way. Or the characters will kind of, be like robots that turn off when you're not in the room. There will be aspects of their lives that are not lived. And then I try to fill those in. Like I like to do a lot of off screen stuff, um, because there's just not enough time to do everything on screen. I wish I had had a chance for Larry's mother in this latest story, but there was no time. I was uh, I was trying to cram a lot of stuff into 57 pages, and the original draft was like way more than that. I think it was like closer to 70, and I really just like compacted that shit because there's just no way to tell every story. Um, so there's a lot of stuff that the reader simply must guess for now. How long had I been working on it before I started posting the latest story? I actually looked back at my notes the other day, and they were from a year ago. They were from over a year ago, so a very long time, and they were also very close to what the story ended up being. Not the little details. I worked out. I took. I wasn't dedicating concentrated time to this story until very recently because I'm working on Perfect Tides, and there's a whole bunch of day-to-day management of that, and the development of the game itself. So for a while I was just taking like an hour a day to like go through my notes and create like a strong outline, and then to piece together a script and then tighten that script up. And that was like, I would just work on it in bits and pieces. But I got to a point where I was like, I need I need to get this story out of my system this year. I can't drag this into 2023 with me. I have a lot of other stuff to do, and also the story will become stale. Like, it won't mean anything to me if I don't get it out now. Um, I need it out so that I can come up with new stories. So I took a few weeks away from the game. Freelancers still working away, but me personally, I worked on this story intensively for um, maybe like a month and a half, 2 months, where it occupied most almost all of my time, um, and that included like time after hours, which is why I haven't done a dev stream in a long time. But that's going to change next week because I'm done, baby. But like all of my spare time, I dedicated to it. I really had no life while I was working on it because there's just no other way to make a big comic project. So I gave all my time to it for a while, and it made me a little crazy. I would have these nights where I just like lamented to my husband, like, I just need to be done so much. I just desperately, desperately need to be done with this story. And he just kept assuring me that I'm working toward that and that it would happen. But yeah, it was on the back burner for me for over a year, and I finally got to a point where I had to get it out. All right, how are we looking? Okay, let me raise this up and see if I can get a picture of the whole thing. Did I forget any major details? Looks okay to me. I like it. I'm pretty happy. I wonder if I should do a drop shadow under Sean. I'd have to do it for everyone is the thing. Oh, Larry needs a foot. Let's see if I can get a foot on this guy. Let's see. Oh, not this pen. I'm gonna say right around here and like that, and then a little detail there. That's good. But yeah, I'm kind of wondering if I should just do like a little undershone there, just to give it a little texture. All right, let's go for it. Let's try it. There we go. I like that. Good thing, because I fucking drew it. All right. I'm gonna really try not to overwork this. Just give, thank you for the well wishes. Just give everyone a few lines. If I start overworking it in one place, I'm gonna start overworking it everywhere. Okay. A little, just tiny bit of it over here. And under Hannah, just the finest of lines. I think it is working. Yeah, I think it's working. I like it, just to give it like a tiny bit of another plane of, yeah. Like, yeah, it gives it some ground to stand on. And I wish there was actually room to draw Marigold's foot. I feel like it's a little weird that we can't quite see it, but that's all. It makes it pop. Yeah, I think so. All right. Yeah, no, I like it. I'm happy. Okay. I think that's all I'm doing. I think that's it. Ta-da. I'm gonna post this on social before long. Okay. Thank you. Let's see if I can get this webcam back up on me without it being a nightmare. Oh my god. I always obviously I always set up the camera in advance because I want to try and make my office not look like shit, but unfortunately my plants are a little crispy. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. So let's see. I think the next stream I do is going to be video game related, and that's probably going to happen maybe Monday or Tuesday, and I'm going to be doing a public and a private stream this week because I feel like I need to get right back into it. So if you're on the streaming club, I will be inviting you to that on Discord, and if you are just a Twitch follower, I will probably be doing that in the next few days. So hopefully what am I gonna say? I'm so distracted. I'm sorry. I'm always trying to read the chat. My plants are they're okay actually. They're pretty healthy, but there's a lot of dead leaves that I just you know, have not had a chance to remove. Yikes. Big yikes. So, you know, they've seen better days. These, what are they called? Nobody uses the name that they used to be called anymore, except my neighbor who just says it to me, who just asks me straight up if I've got any wandering Jew, but they're called something else now. A lot of people just say wandering dude. Okay, I'm not going to clean my plants up while I'm on the feed. I felt like there was something else I wanted to talk about. I can't remember. So my process for scanning this stuff is I have another Brother printer that is a wide format. It's like 11 by 17, and it's connected to it's connected to my Google Drive. So it just sends that shit up. Scan it right now. And I've got like kind of like a profile already set up, so it makes it pretty easy. There we go. Okay, I think I'm going to end this stream. I think I've run out of things to discuss and show you guys, but I will possibly see you again on another stream very soon. So have a good night. Bye.